Hello, Catamounts. My name is Alexander Hoffman, and this is Chats with Cats presented by WeTV. In this series, we've been interviewing some of our amazing student athletes here at Western Carolina University. Today, we are finishing out interviews with 3 guests from the amazing Chats with Cats tech crew. Today's guest, directly beside me, is director Jacob Pendergraph. How are you, Jacob?
Hey, Alex, it's good to be here. I'm really excited for this.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for this one. So we'll go ahead and get started. Go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're involved in here at Western.
Hi, my name is Jacob Pendergraph. I'm the director of Chats with Cats. I'm also a member of the Pride of the Mountains marching band. I'm also the project manager for WeTV, and I'm also the equipment manager for the communications department.
Lots of different roles going on there. We'll go ahead and start with band. If you don't mind, could you share a memorable moment from your band career?
Anytime I'm in the stands, just kind of playing out, showing out, and supporting our football team with some of the people that you really worked all season grinding on the show for. Halftime shows are always amazing, and post-game is just a whole nother world. But really, anytime I'm performing with people that I love and I worked alongside for long periods of time, really more films up that bond. It's always a good time just kind of getting to reap the rewards.
Yeah, for sure. The post-game, by the way, I will say this every single time I talk about the post-game. Guests and fans of Chats with Cats, go to the post-game show.
Go to the post-game.
Amazing, always. Higher ground, perfect. But we'll move on a little bit to Chats with Cats. What got you so interested in helping out with so many episodes of Chats with Cats?
Well, the host is obviously amazing. And I don't know, I was in the studio one day, and Olivia, the studio manager, last season, she was like, hey, do you want to help TD this interview thing we're trying out? And I was like, sure. So I thought it was really cool giving student athletes who, that we're not a big sports school. And I really thought that it was really cool that we were giving student athletes a chance to kind of share their stories where they might not have otherwise been heard. And I really fell in love with the concept, and the crew is amazing. And it's just something that we can be proud of as a team.
Yeah, I think that's been something over the course of it that's like evolved more, is like there's a set crew that like usually comes on, which
The day ones.
Yep, and 3 of them are getting interviewed. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and jumping off of that with all those interviews, of all the interviews you've directed, which has been your favorite?
Oh, Cole Gonzalez in the season 2 is definitely a highlight. But I gotta say, shout out my boy Ja'Kai Jermaine. Definitely a top tier interview right there. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. He just gave some really quality answers, and having helped set up that interview, I was just really proud of it.
Yeah, Ja'Kai, one of my most proud moments was that interview specifically too. That was also our start to the Potom interviews.
Yeah.
That's exciting. How do you manage your time between all those extracurriculars you mentioned, academics and band also?
I don't, if we're being honest. No, time management is definitely something that really is a struggle for all of the people in Potom, and then you add on 2 other things to it, and your free time just goes out the window. So, I mean, having a strong support network is definitely huge. Obviously, when you're juggling so many different things, mental health is a really big thing. So making sure you're on top of that, having people you can talk to and have support you and help you out when things get rough. Just a quick little message. If you're struggling or you need help, don't be afraid to reach out. It's hard now, but I promise things get easier.
Yeah, for sure. And along with that as well, we've mentioned in a couple interviews, but there are a lot of resources if you're a student at Western watching this, a lot of resources on campus. We have CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services, and they will help you connect with other resources as needed as well. But that's something that we haven't touched on in enough interviews. I feel like I've done some research in the field of sports management, and mental health kind of gets ignored a little bit too much, and I feel like that extends to the support of athletics, which is the band and cheer and all of that as well. But I'm glad
you're struggling. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up as well. How has being a part of the band and WeTV shaped your college experience?
Well, I mean, it definitely makes it very unique, and to a standpoint. Band, when I showed up to college, I had people to rely on, but not really a whole lot of them were in the communications department. So I really didn't have a whole lot of involvement going forward until about the fall semester of my sophomore year. And I came to a WeTV meeting, and I kind of fell in love with it. I love producing. I was a news producer for like last year. So that was really fun, and it definitely kind of grew my involvement within the department, kind of got me involved in a lot of extracurricular shoots and stuff like that. So it gives you a support network again to fall on, and it definitely gave me a family that I feel that people who just go to class and stay in their dorm and graduate, they don't really get that experience.
Yeah, I remember how like quickly integrated I was able to also get into WeTV. It's just immediately. I just showed up. I'm not even a communications major. And then suddenly here I am doing my interview thing. So that's fun. And this is unrelated to any question that I've asked so far, but I just know that you're itching to talk about MMA. How did you get involved in that? And what role would you say that it plays in your life?
Well, I'm an amateur mixed martial arts fighter. I kind of got it started just kind of out night after work one day, and we were talking during work, and one of the guys said he reckoned he could beat me in a fight. So I took martial arts as a kid, so I have a Taekwondo base, and I kind of leaned into that a little bit. But it started out with boxing. I love my boxing, so that kind of quickly grew into like an infatuation with the sport. When I was in my high school years, it did a lot for me mentally and physically. And then it kind of grew into competing in MMA. I had a lot of really good coaches. Shout out Shane Asno. That kind of helped me out along the way and kind of grew my love and infatuation for the sport and my technical and physical abilities as well.
Yeah, having spoken to you many, many times, and you just will be able to find a way to mention it. I knew that that's something you had to bring up, so I did it for you. But we'll go ahead and move into our lightning round. As you know, short little questions with some short little answers. Thank you, Jacob. What has been your favorite class at Western so far?
TV production too. Don't even got to think about it. Shout out Matt Binford.
Yes, shout out Matt Binford every single day. If you could add any popular song or artist to the halftime set, what or who would it be?
That's a good one. The country fan in me says Shabuzi or Morgan Wallen, but realistically, Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z and Beyonce would definitely be a very good like fourth movement hit. But The Weeknd would be pretty cool too, I gotta say.
On the same wavelength as Jakai.
We're brothers, what can I say?
What is your favorite sports team or athlete, and it cannot be something at WCU?
Do I gotta pick one?
You can say a couple.
All right, so first of all, we're going to start out strong. Washington Commanders. I love my Washington football teams. I was born and raised a Commanders fan, so shout out Commanders. Hockey, I follow the Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes, staying true to that Washington area and also the Raleigh area. Going into MMA, I'm a really big fan of Israel Adesanya and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And then I don't really follow basketball all that much, but soccer, we support Arsenal.
There we go. Pretty good range, and you did the shout-outs for me, so I don't even have anything to say yet. And what has been your favorite post-performance meal after a big Pride of the Mountains marching band performance?
So after game days, I'm always gassed, so I do not want to go home and cook. But my girlfriend makes a really, really good lasagna and a really good potato bake, so I'm going to say that. Because like it's pre-made, all I got to do is throw it in the oven while I go take a shower, and then I get out and it's already done. So yeah, lasagna and potato bake.
Okay, there we go. You're one of the very few people to have not said a restaurant of some kind.
Sorry, El Pat, no sponsorship deal for you today.
Probably will next time. And then finally, to kind of tie everything together, what advice would you give to students looking at coming to WCU, either on the Pride of the Mountains side, the communication side, or kind of both?
Well, if you're coming in for Pride of the Mountains, practice, practice, practice. If you're coming in for the communications, get involved. Both of those organizations that I'm a part of have great support networks, and the professors and the people who run them are very, very good at their fields, and they also care a lot about how you are doing, not just as a student, but also as a person. So get involved. That's the easiest way. In the band, your section becomes a second family. people you can rely on when things get rough. And, you know, you're not always going to love every aspect of it. There's going to be some rough parts of it, but at the end of the day, you just got to get involved and open up.
And as Jakai Germain would say, embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck. Shout out Elliot Cleveland for coming up with that wonderful phrase.
Perfect. So that will kind of close us out. But before we say goodbye, I did want to remind everybody that the effects of Hurricane Helene are still being heavily felt in the region. There will be a link in the description, as always, to a list of resources compiled by WCU to donate, volunteer, and receive support if needed. Thank you, Jacob, for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Being in the studio this time instead of out there.
Being on this side of the camera.
Oh, just wait until you interview me. Is that a teaser? Who knows? We'll see you next time, and
go Cats!